Black History Month is an integral part of our nation's tradition, in which we continue to recognize and promote positive, impactful individuals. The Sports Shop with Reese and K-Mac, Salute to Champions, would like to recognize this individual for their contribution.
Oh, man, K-Mac. You know, he's been on here once before, but now this is
about community spotlight.
That's right, but this is a different capacity. He is CEO of Jobs for Life, and he does so many other things. We're really proud to offer and welcome to the class for 2020. Salute the Champions, CEO Ryan Ray. What's up, man? How you doing, brother?
How you doing, fellas and the young lady? How you guys doing this morning?
How you
Good
doing?
morning. Doing well, man. Doing well. Hope you guys are.
Man, we're excited. We're excited to have you part of this. And Ryan, we don't take this lightly in terms of people that when they're nominated, and then of course when they're voted upon, we get excited about it. So thank you for being a part of this class. Just off the dribble here, Jobs for Life. Talk about that and why that's so important to what you're doing right now.
Yeah, man. Jobs for Life is so important, you know, in a time where so many people are not getting to experience the dignity of work. I mean, you guys are in here, you're chopping it up, you're having a good time. It just brings so much dignity and joy to you, to your life, to your work. You're adding value to the community. You're using your gifts and talents to serve other people. That's what it's all about. So many people have barriers preventing them to be able to do those things. You know, when you're not employed, over time that begins to impact your dignity, your psyche, how you behave in society. Then it has environmental ramifications, right? How does it impact your family? And so there's just so many things that we miss when individuals don't get to bring their value to the world, to society.
Well, we're talking with Ryan Ray, who is a 2020 Salute to Champions recipient for Sports Shop, Reese and K-Mac. And we do this each and every year. We get an opportunity to talk to individuals that are having tremendous impact in their own communities. One of the questions I had, you know, just talking about Jobs for Life, now you're the president and CEO of Jobs for Life. You just briefly talked about what that means and how it changes people's lives. Talk about the role you had before as a Triangle Entrepreneur Leadership, being a CEO or leading that, and having those skill sets and seeing how people translate wanting to be an entrepreneur and trying to get to that point, and then all the tools you have to give them to be successful.
Absolutely, man. You know, to help package that, back in 2003, I was in a near fatal car accident. Lost everything, ended up moving back home to Dunn. I was living in Raleigh, and I was lost. I was like, man, like, what's next? Like, what do I do from here? A mentor came into my life. God placed a mentor into my life, and he just began to teach me things that changed my philosophy about life. And the main thing he said, Ryan, he says that, you know, success isn't something that you pursue, because, you know, most people, you know, you 20s, early 20s, you're trying to make the money, you're trying to get the stuff, right? It's all about the stuff. And he said, nah, Ryan, success isn't something you pursue. Success is something you attract by the person you become. And so it just changed my philosophy from this guy that was, again, out trying to make it, to being, how can I be a better version of myself? I think one of you, that's your tagline, right? How can I deliver value to society? And so then that comes with an acquisition of skill sets, right? How do I become a better listener? How do I become a problem solver, right? Becoming a public speaker. When I was in college, I dropped classes if public speaking was a part of that. I said, I'll never speak to
Really? That's hard to believe. I'll tell you now, yeah.
So that's what I do. But a mentor said, Ryan, if you want to be able to communicate, you're only going to be successful when you learn how to communicate effectively. So I knew what not feeling good was. So I was like, well, I got to get out my comfort zone. And so I translated that experience into Triangle Entrepreneurial Leadership and said, how can I position myself to take the gifts, talents, skills, the mentorship that I received and give that back to others? So we started the organization just for that reason, to educate, empower, and equip individuals with the skill sets so they can succeed, not just financially, not just personally, not just professionally, but become a whole person so that they can deliver value and live a life that they can get joy out of.
This is interesting. We're talking to a 2020 recipient of the Salute to Champions, something we do each and every February. What advice do you give someone, and similar to what you just talked about, how can you run aggressively towards something that you're uncomfortable with? You talked about that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you gotta, there's you got to make a decision what you want in life, right? And in today's society, there's so many things you could do. There's so many distractions, but you just got to get present. You got and determine, okay, what is it that I want to accomplish? And let me unpack that a little bit more.
Yeah.
You know, so many times we run after our passions, right?
Yeah.
And I believe our passions provide the fuel and the wind at our back. But really, until you come in line with your purpose, like what did God put me here to do? Because once you know that, when you go to bed and wake up in the morning knowing that you are doing exactly what you were put here to do, then all other questions go away, right? Now when hurdles come, when challenges come, when doubt sets in, it doesn't matter. You just figure out how to overcome those things because you have absolute certainty that I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. But so many people are just kind of in flux, right?
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna do this today. I'm gonna try this tomorrow, right? And so then when challenges come, you realize, well, they hadn't committed to it, right? It's all about commitment. You're only gonna commit to something that you've made a decision you're going to go through with.
Wow.
We're talking with Ryan Ray, a 2020 Salute to Champions recipient. We, like Reese just mentioned, we do this each and every February, and this is our third class, and very proud of all of the individuals that have been on Salute to Champions. And Ryan, you know, CEO of Jobs for Life, you just talked about having a passion and having a drive and having a vision. Give us a little insight into, you know, what you do on a day-to-day basis, and, you know, what was probably the most, I guess, rewarding or fulfilling point that you've achieved so far with Jobs for Life?
Oh, wow, great question. So on a day-to-day basis, you know, other than leading a staff, a team, I spend most of my time sitting, having conversations with people, from people from all walks of life, people who are able to bring different perspectives, resources to the organization, because we are a nonprofit. And so it's just all about, for me, it's all about community engagement, right? How do we help to identify what are the gifts and talents that people can bring to this conversation? Man, the most rewarding thing was probably, I mean, maybe my first week at the organization. You know, I knew what I was getting into, but I didn't really know what I was getting into until I went to one of the Jobs for Life graduations. And I saw 6 or 7, you know, young men and women that had completed our program walk across the stage, give their testimony, and talk about how they went from being just a very broken, hurt individual, hopeless, to now feeling like they got a chance, right? And when you begin to hear people tell those stories, that's what fuels you to get up in the morning and go do this work, because it's not easy work, but it's worthwhile work. And a mentor told me one time, he said, Ryan, it's not easy, but it will be worth it. And when you know, and when you're in your purpose, going back to that, it's very fulfilling.
Wow.
So what is the program? Like, what does the program consist of? Like, if I'm in the Jobs for Life program, what am I getting?
Yeah, so if you're in Jobs for Life, you are going through a 16-session curriculum or program where we're going to align you with a mentor. And in that program, first and foremost, you're going to kind of have an identity check, because when people are struggling with unemployment, they're really in an identity crisis. They're questioning themselves. They're questioning who they are. They're questioning their gifts and talents. They're questioning their value. And so the first thing we want to do is really help them to align what are your gifts and talents, right? First and foremost, God created you to work. He gave you gifts and talents. How do you now take those and deploy them to the world, to the market, in exchange for value, for money? And so that's the first thing. And so when people really start to say, okay, well, you know, I think I'm pretty good at this, I'm pretty good at that. So you start to align with those gifts and talents. And then from there, we really drill deep in character, integrity, you know, ethics, you know, some of the basic things that many of us are fortunate. And I often tell the story, man, that I feel so fortunate and privileged that I grew up with both my parents. My grandparents were walking distance. You know, I had my uncles in the community. I had the people in the community that showed me the value of hard work, that showed me commitment and integrity. So I had all those social models that helped shape my thinking. Well, so many people today don't. Right. Growing up in single parent households, you know, all they know is what they see. And so it's a learning curve. So we're teaching people, employers want you to show up on time. Yeah, when you get paid on Friday, you got to come back on Monday. Right?
Exactly.
When you go to lunch for an hour, we mean an hour, right? So it's teaching those things. And then the other side of that is helping employers understand that, man, today you're probably going to have to hire some non-traditional individuals, right, who don't get that. So now having some empathy so that and how do you give people that chance, right? And so it's having that empathy so that then you can bridge that gap and everybody can rise together.
So is Jobs for Life only for unemployed people? Because there are some employed people that did not get those same lessons that probably could benefit from.
Underemployed, have their employment enhanced a little bit.
Great question. And that's one of the things I'm working on is changing that perception. And even I even make it look like that. But those values and principles that we teach in that curriculum, I believe they're for everybody. At the end of the curriculum, we do talk about a vocational plan. But that first 2/3 of the program, I think is for everybody, no matter where you are.
So
but anybody can go through that and use those values. But unemployment, underemployed, it's for everybody. It's a great question. Thank you for bringing that out.
I like that.
Wow.
I like that. That's great. I never thought about.
We're all about to be in the Jobs for Life program.
Sending people
I'm going to go upgrade.
Who shows up late every day?
Absolutely. Nobody would ever show up late because this microphone was on. What do you hear?
I'm so sorry about my job. I didn't even go home last night. I stayed all night. No,
it was dark in here when we showed up.
That's right. It's right. It really was.
Yeah. More ways than one.
Well, I am interested because there is a backdrop to some. You guys work with welfare to work individuals, work first people like that.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. So that was the foundation that the organization was founded upon. Work over welfare.
Yeah.
Right. And really helping people again take ownership for your life and the results of it.
Well, that's awesome.
Don't put your destiny in the hands of a system, right? Which isn't set up for you to win anyway, right? How do you take control of that? And we all have it.
And it becomes systematic too, because you can have the grandmother and her daughter and her daughter all in the same class.
Absolutely,
seriously, it doesn't happen.
And now you start to shape generations.
Yeah, exactly. Unbelievable. Hey, we had a great conversation last hour with one of our recipients that will be rocking with us next week. Ryan Ray, who's CEO of the Jobs for Life. But I want to change gears. He's still with us. Then Ryan, thank you for hanging out with us.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it. So K-Mac and I and everybody, not even K-Jazz, everybody was blown away a few weeks ago with the news of Kobe Bryant and his daughter and the other 7 individuals, and it was just it's almost still surreal to me when you think about it.
It is.
With the All-Star game, they did a great job, kind of showing some love to Kobe and everyone else, but there's still some other conversations around that. So let's talk about something that you and your team put together, and we're involved in as well. That's going on Monday.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. I brought this, man. It's still, like you said, it's surreal.
Yeah.
Right. To see. Kobe Bryant with a tombstone, right, with a beginning and ending.
Wow.
Man, we all gonna have one of those.
I know.
We're all gonna have one of those. And so, when it happened, we all remember where we were, right? Exactly what we were doing. Probably paused, didn't believe it, right? Was waiting on CNN or somebody to confirm it, right?
I know I was.
Can't be true.
A credible source to come out with it. Yes. Yes, we waiting on that.
And man, I just got real introspective after that happened. I didn't post, I didn't really have any conversations. And so the Saturday before last, I just woke up, I was like, man, this is a tremendous opportunity to leverage, to engage community in having some conversations, right, about some things that we haven't had. Here's a man that how can someone that I didn't know personally, you guys may have, and never saw him face to face.
I met him a couple times,
right? But man, how does somebody like that have such an impact on not just me, not just us, not just LA, not just the world, right? What was it about that the world stopped? And everybody came to Staples Center, and it's just been ongoing. And even today, what is it? A couple weeks later, we still are like just blown away by that.
Yeah.
And so there's something around that that I think we can unpack. And so Monday we're going to have a Kobe conversation and talk about, what are the life lessons that we can learn from a guy who was in such a tremendous pursuit of greatness, and not just around basketball.
Oh, no, no,
'Cause
no.
He pursued greatness.
It's
in
another
basketball,
chapter to be
and
written.
he-
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes.
And he accomplished it.
Yeah.
And now he took those same principles, because principles transcend time, they transcend industry, they transcend whatever you're trying to do.
Very well.
So he took that same work ethic, that same pursuit of excellence, and he moved it to a whole nother career, right? He moved it to family, and I believe the guy was destined for greatness in whatever it was he was going to do. So what are the lessons we can learn from the life and the death of Kobe Bryant? That's what we're going to talk about on Monday.
And it's interesting because the memorial is actually on Monday as well, so this coincides with that. So it's a good time to have that conversation.
Yes.
So where is it? How can people get involved? That kind of thing.
Yeah, so this event is going to be held Monday downtown. We're going to open the doors at 6, start the conversations around 6:30.
And what's the location?
First Baptist Church,
Okay.
their Family Life Center, 109 South Wilmington Street.
Yeah.
And we're going to, just chat it up.
That's Pastor.
Hershaw.
Yeah, who's been here with us.
Yes.
Okay,
Doing the
Yeah, a couple
MLK
times.
prayer
Yep,
breakfast.
that's
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
Yep,
yeah,
yep,
yeah.
yep,
Oh,
yep,
I
yep.
didn't know that.
Yeah.
He opened the doors, let us in. So and again, it's about community engagement. They're big. He's big in community, obviously, with the MLK and so much other work that he does. And so, yeah, man, I think it's just an opportunity to bring community together and talk about some things.
Well, we're happy to be a part of it. I mean,
Man, I'm happy to have you guys.
To be moderated, and just the format, I think is pretty interesting. The way that you guys are going to have the format, the way it's set up, where you have different moderators around different individual areas. Talk about some of the areas that will be discussed specifically, and then as they come back together as a group.
Yeah. So, it's interesting. You mentioned earlier. So when I started thinking about, okay, what's the format for this thing? And I thought about Kobe's life. And at the end of the day, it was legacy, right? So Kobe has left a tremendous legacy. So how do you get there? Because if you ask 100 people, 99 will say, yeah, I want to leave a legacy. And whether you don't say that or not, you're going to leave a legacy. Now, whether it's a good one
Good
or
or
a
bad,
one,
right?
you're going to leave
a
one.
legacy.
Yeah.
So if you're intentional about leaving legacy, how do you get there? And so for me, it was, okay, first and foremost, this guy decided what he wanted. We talked about that earlier, right? He had an entrepreneurial mindset, right? He decided what he wanted, and he committed to excellence. So excellence is the first life lesson. Once he decided he was going to be excellent, then he developed the disciplines that align with that. Okay, what are the things that I can do, can't do, right? Most guys were practicing twice a day. He was practicing 4 times
Yep,
a day.
that's true.
Right?
That's
What
true.
are the disciplines? Then that discipline translated into work ethic, right? Which is why I love Jobs for Life and I love to work, right? Because like skills and talent is great, but it's the people who put in the work that get the results, right? Talent can only take you so far.
Right.
Work is really what gets you the crown. So excellence to discipline to work ethic, right? That got him to success with the basketball, and then that translated. And he said, "Okay, now it's family time." Right? He went in. He started spending time with family, committed to his daughter. He said, "You know what? Now I'm gonna take what I've done, what I've built. I'm gonna pour it into youth." Right? And as a result of
He was
that,
doing
he's
that, yes,
positioned
sir.
himself to now have left a tremendous legacy. So those are the 5 pillars or lessons we're going to talk about: excellence, discipline, work ethic, family, and legacy. And I believe everybody can hit one of those points that will resonate with them somewhere.
Absolutely, man.
I like it.
And that's happening on Monday the 24th, and it starts 6 o'clock. You said, right?
Starts at 6 o'clock. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
okay.
Go out to KobeConversations.eventbrite.com. Just a $10 ticket, cover the cost, and we're going to have some food there. But yes, I didn't want to put any barriers up. Just want people to come out, have a good time. But also I want to see who's committed to having a conversation, right? You got to put a little skin in the game. But yeah, man, it's going to be good. We're excited.
Well, we're excited too to be involved and looking forward to that conversation. And it didn't hurt the fact that we were already fans, first of all. But,
Right.
but one thing you said is interesting. Whether you knew him or not, it still impacted people
Tremendously,
And
yeah.
I heard so many people tell me and say, "Man, it impacted me. I didn't realize it was going to impact me that way."
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like,
Yeah.
wow, it bothered me, and I don't know why, but it did. And
Yeah,
that says a lot
that's
about-
worth a conversation.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
I mean,
yeah, it is.
and
Yeah,
it touches.
yeah,
It went across race. It went across
Yes,
age. It went
yes.
across gender.
Yep.
Like it went across all domains of life.
Yeah.
And so I think that's again a good community engagement strategy, but it's a good conversation.
Oh man,
The arc of his life touched a lot of people.
Absolutely. Yeah.
From the trouble in
Yeah, I was
Colorado,
gonna say, the challenges,
to,
yep.
to
Yeah.
what it took to overcome that, and then the doubts, and then hard work, and being so young, being so gifted, and the troubles with his family, you know, the strife between he and his mom
and dad. Yes,
Man,
a
how
lot of
about
that
that?
going on.
So that whole arc of his life touched, quite honestly, for most African American men between the ages of 25 and maybe 55, could all relate to parts of that arc in his life.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. You know, it's kind of a model that I've kind of tried to live my life on. It's the dream, struggle, victory. Right? Like if you can keep that kind of flow in your life,
Dream,
have
struggle,
a dream.
victory.
Yeah.
There's going to be a struggle.
Yes,
But then
with everything.
if you keep going, though,
Yeah.
there'll be a victory.
Victory.
But once you
Wow.
get that victory, guess what? Because even in football, once you score, right,
yeah.
you got a victory. Now you got to do it all over
Right,
again.
right.
The dream is to score another
Reset, start
touchdown,
over, yeah.
hit the reset button. You got to struggle, get the 10 yards at a time, touchdown. So
Appreciate it,
pleasure,
man.
man.
Been a pleasure.
Appreciate you
Looking
guys,
forward
man.
to some
Appreciate
money.
the opportunity.
Looking forward to you joining the class for
yeah, man,
2020.
and looking forward to seeing you guys next week as
Yeah.
well. Thank you so much.
Yeah.